Rolling.
We on it. We on, boys.
It's rolling, 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 rolling.
Right.
Yes.
And that's it.
Aero vehicle.
Oh,
Here we come.
Oh.
Yeah, there we are.
I need to
I'm
ask
gonna
him about Rammstein.
We're on.
If he understands German. Because when I watch Rammstein, they're singing in German.
yeah. I love Rammstein.
It's German.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't know what they're saying, but I don't care. I love it. They are the best band I've ever seen live. God, they're good. That and Tool.
They look like
Oh,
Lego
so good.
people when they were dressed when I watched one of the gigs. Like Mr. Gold. Yeah.
Good evening, Carver Grass Club. For Tuesday, the 20th of July.
Yeah. Run.
Gibbo, Lenny, we got Gary,
Good evening.
who's usually on the other end giving us grief, but we dragged him in tonight. And the new bloke down there is a beardless Will Pearce.
Yes. Not great. What did you do?
What happened there? Did you have a job interview?
I did a heavy reno, spring
Spring
renovation.
Reno. Spring Reno early.
You went a bit early. The temps aren't the right.
Aerated, scalp, top dress.
Rikey.
The minimum and maximum temps aren't 36 yet.
bowling green,
Yeah.
reno.
Yeah.
Forgot the roots.
That's it.
Not the first and won't be the last.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's right.
So what's going on? Oh, gang?
Just been hanging out.
I'm trying to find ourselves on here.
I've been trying to do that for 20 years. Hi, Kyle. Before I forget, hey, mate.
Hey, Kyan. My
I'll be-
best mate.
I'll be
Kyan's my
trying-
best mate. He's so
Waits
awesome.
by the TV for us to come on every week.
I wonder if Archie's watching.
Classic.
If
Archie
he is.
could be watching.
Hey Archie, if
Hey,
you're there,
Archie.
if you're watching.
Can I just thank my mum and dad?
Yep.
Here we go.
Yeah, you can.
Mum
Okay.
and dad,
Punchline for that?
Ali, Isla, Harry, and all the neighbours.
And the
We are
cat.
transforming our street. Well done.
You
And
are.
the cat.
And the cat, Jimmy. Dragon Eyes, Jimmy.
It is live.
We are live. Oh, there we go.
You are
Found
live.
it.
Your neighbours. See?
Oh,
Hey,
the
bye,
neighbours.
come, lad.
Alright, so we are actually going in the. Oh, there's 18 people there watching
Oh,
already.
look out.
Look out.
Oh, here we go. We've got something evening, lads. How good was the F1 on the weekend, Chris? It was too late at night for me.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah, the big talking point is did Maxi get punted off?
No.
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 And yes.
No.
Was it a racing incident? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Do we love to see wheel-to-wheel action? Yes.
Yes.
I
Bit like
just gotta-
Cleveland Roundabout.
That's
And
right.
you see the, yeah, that's right. See the old Land Cruisers with the bush scrub bars down the side? I reckon that's what Maxi should get on that bloody Red Bull of his.
Still-
Ma-
still
Max
funny.
for crashing.
Yeah.
Well, when you've got open wheels, it's bound to happen. You know.
That's right, that's right.
But I gotta say, I was telling guys on the way over here, the coverage of the Silverstone F1 was the best camera and coverage I've ever seen in F1. They
Oh really?
They got the Skycam
They had
on
launch
the
stripes too.
footy, but they did it across like four corners. So the Skycam,
Oh wow.
and you get like a proper actual feel for how quick they take off and stop. Like usually when they follow with the chopper or whatever, you
Yes,
can't get a
it's
true
hard
indication of how
Yeah.
much they are just locking on the brakes and getting up it again. It's ridiculous. They put some stats out for everyone playing along at home. They're doing 0 to 200 in 4.2 seconds
That's unbelievable.
Well, it's not just
from a stood start.
it's not just how quick they accelerate. It's how quick they
the
slow down.
braking.
Like they start braking for a corner from 300 k's an hour, 50 meters out.
That's right.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's why they work out on the necks.
Yeah,
You see
big
some of
time.
them footage where they're training out.
Yep.
You know, it's pretty.
And the
fun.
reaction time too.
It's 385,000 for the weekend.
Yep. So obviously we had the British Open as well in the golf. Colin Morikawa, what a performance!
Yeah, wow.
Not too many Aussies did very well. Our man Leash unfortunately didn't make the cut.
No.
Not used to the old links golf at the moment. He's been spending too much time in the US.
Playing on those. What would you even say? Those style. I reckon it's like a park,
Yeah,
like parkland style,
manufactured.
like golf courses in the States.
Yeah,
What the style of?
the
Yeah.
non-links courses.
Not links
Oh.
course, but
Yeah, no,
I think
they're
they actually call them.
they're like parkland style.
yeah, they
park
call
style.
them parkland, and it's so different to what like Royal St George's is.
Oh,
It's like well,
Legit.
even the style of golf they play is like very different. Like they'll play what's called target golf on some of those softer courses, like where they can actually attack the
Yeah.
greens. Whereas like you play on a links course, and much similar to like some of the courses in Australia, like Royal Melbourne.
Ball
You
on sand
can't
golf
actually
courses.
land the ball on the green because it'll roll off. It goes so quick. So it is about like working out what kind of shot you approach the green with.
My caddy always said I was always stood too close to the ball after my shot. So I was never good at golf.
No.
You
You're better than me
persevere.
if you got a caddy.
That's just a voice in my head.
Yeah.
Cinderella story.
And Min Woo Lee, the Aussie whose sister is obviously Australian golf champ representing Australia in the Olympics next week. But it's his second European win. Won $2.6 million Australian for 4 days' work, which ain't bad.
Yeah.
But he shot himself a private jet from where the Scottish Open to Royal St George's just because he could. He thought it'd be the one chance in his life he gets.
That is Minjee Lee, brother. Yeah.
And after he got obviously super on it afterwards, and there's one thing where he got on Instagram Live, and it's just him like 4 hours later with him and a magnum of Verve, and he's just still just sculling it on Instagram Live. Just this is the best day of my life.
Have
So
we?
good.
Well, I suppose we probably haven't been on since Barty won a.
No, we
Well,
haven't.
No,
Wimbledon
there is a
as well.
question about Ash Barty.
So that's massive.
Huge.
How big?
Yeah. How does she rate in the greats
Of Australian
of
sports
Australia?
people?
Oh, but yeah, I think so. Yeah,
She's getting there.
she'd be up there.
She's up,
Yeah.
she's up there with
Is
any of
that
the great
tennis?
tennis players. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But she can play cricket. She can play
Can
golf. Yeah, she played for the
Brisbane Heat.
The Brisbane Heat
she's an
women's side.
all-rounder then,
Yeah.
Game golfer too.
and she won Wimbledon.
Yep.
Well, that's saying something. That's
Her
multi-talented.
boyfriend's a greenkeeper, so there's hope for all of us.
That's right.
He's a green
Now you
keeper,
get
so-
swinging a tennis racket. You're already the breadwinner now.
Brookwater.
but-
Out of Brookwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you reckon he had different types of turf for her to play on in the garden?
Probably, I'd
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Striped it up.
Strike it up. So,
There was a question about the what turf type it would have been at
Do you
Wimbledon,
remember?
and
So 3 blend ryegrass, and it's
There we
been
are.
so they have trials at STRI, and each year in the previous year, the top 3 cultivars of the trial is based on like wear and performance, then get put in the blend that goes on Wimbledon in
There
their
you go.
renovations. So I think they renovate around February March time because they use like overheating and stuff like that, and then the rye will come through. Like so they'll pretty much like fully groom it and rent it, like scarify it right back, and then they'll oversow the new three
Yep. blends.
ryegrass blend. Originally, back in the day, it started out as like they looked at Poetriv and Bent and Kentucky Blue and ryegrass, and rye became then the species, and
Yep.
then it just became the best of the ryes
right.
and the top 3 performing.
The other half of that question is, in your opinion, how well did the court hold up during that tournament?
I
I
To
think
be
it
honest,
was-
I didn't see enough of the of the footage to see, but generally it's probably it's not as much about the grass as it is about like the profile and how it's
Correct.
prepped, because it is like Wimbledon clay, like we see like a clay surface is how we see a wicket block over here, but Wimbledon's actually like a sandy clay loam. It's like 27% clay, and the rest is made up of like different particle sizes of sand. And so it's actually not very high in clay. Like you look at a Australian wicket block as an example, like the Gabba, it ranges from like 60 to 65% clay. Perth like 80%. Melbourne and Sydney are anywhere from like 45
you're
to
tuning out, are you?
Just a friend.
the squirrel.
45 to 50%. So like, and then you think, okay, well, how does a clay pack? Like, if it's really high in clay percentage, it'll roll out and pack really hard,
Be
and the
tight.
bounce will be higher and harder.
When you go to Coles, Wally, do you look at like a tiramisu and you can tell me the compaction rate of the bottom level?
I probably
I
could.
reckon
No.
just by putting your finger in, I reckon.
No, it just and so like that the way that's built, like that particle size distribution, so the different shapes and types of particles, the way it rolls out nice and flat.
Mm.
So if you don't even have surface there, it still can perform. I think they complained about some of the slipperiness, and that challenge can happen on like when you get like this migration of like clay and grass together, it does become slippery.
Well, that's
Do you
that's
do
the
you
play.
think though, because Michelle's saying that it handled it well and the ball response was consistent,
Yeah.
because most tennis players had done nothing for a year and Wimbledon was cancelled last year.
They're just
It's
not
been-
used to the grass.
I just don't think tennis players play on grass anymore. Like
No.
it's the only. There's probably they have those lead up tournaments in the English summer coming into it, but predominantly they're playing on hard courts and clay courts.
Yeah.
And you look at who generally wins grass. It's always like a common theme. Like it won't surprise me if Ash Barty wins more Wimbledon championships because she's used to playing on grass, or she knows how to. And I've seen her, like, she trains at Tennyson on the grass courts fairly regularly.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of these other tennis players may not even have a grass court at their disposal to train on.
Yep.
Especially if they're just coming out of a European.
And so
winter.
that was a big challenge. Like,
true.
I know Wimbledon, like, they're the Fosters of lawn tennis around the world. Like, the big challenge is, like, getting grass courts back out into the community.
We're
And so-
back, baby. We're back.
Yeah.
If anyone has a grass tennis court in Brisbane, can you message me? Because I want to come and have a look. I've never actually seen one in the
There's a fair few. If you go to, like, the older suburbs in Brizzy,
Ascot and Hamilton.
Ascot, Hamilton, Chelmer, like a lot of the ones that are big blocks, colonial style Queenslandery blocks, a lot of them have tennis
I
courts.
could do one at the back, but it'd be a lot smaller and it'd be a carpet grass tennis court.
A bit the size of a ping pong table.
It'd be a bit like Tiddlywinks.
Yeah.
Imagine carpet grass.
Some of them are heritage listed.
How does Wally go on a date? Chris has said he'd be lost in his mesmerising talk, have him under his spell.
See, I told you. It's mesmerising me, mate. Honestly,
told ya.
the aura that comes off Wally. The
Oh,
aura. Oh, honestly, it's got that Ready Break glow. You remember Ready Break? You've heard of Ready Break?
Yeah.
It's got that aura about it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like Star Wars. You are Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's Chewbacca and Han Solo, definitely.
If you what is it? If you subscribe me now, I should become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Michelle's defending her honour. She says he's married to a lovely lady, so doesn't need to. She would know a lot about lawn if she's anything. Yeah.
She doesn't. I mean, it just tunes
She
out.
doesn't.
And,
I don't
you know,
think so.
fair enough.
Renee does the same. I don't even care.
I won't even ask. I won't tell you what my wife
Well,
does.
it's Amelia, not Amelia. Renee got you into the Fanatics. It's
She
her
did.
fault.
She
so-
added me to the Fanatics in the very beginning.
Huh?
She found it, and it's cost her thousands.
It's not so much the fanatics, man. It's the alluring green. It sucks you in and
That's
you
right,
never escape.
exactly.
I've never ever put turf in the back of my car though.
You will. One day you'll find yourself doing it and you'll be midway to the drive to wherever you're heading. And you'll
Kim
be like,
Foster's here. Hey, Kim,
Kimmy.
again, bud.
fell for that, you know?
I just get 40 square metres of turf in the back of my car. I mean, I've got a ute, so that's okay, but you had a
Falcon.
saloon, yeah.
Well, that's ill treatment of turf. Put it in the back. It'll dry out.
You need the right
Should be in the
temperature
cab,
control.
mate.
I can imagine you pulling up every 10 miles. Are you okay there, darling?
Well, the funny thing was,
Let's
because it was transpiring,
Let's go to the
it
toilet.
was actually, all the windows are fogging up, so I had to wind the windows down to let it breathe.
Oh
was
no,
getting-
Wally's abducting us.
We could be in the good patch, or we could be in the getting
bad-
punishment
bad
patch.
Yeah.
The trial plot. So, guys, what got you into looking after your lawn? He's dressed tonight as the Lawn
I've got
Ranger.
the Lone Ranger, yeah. Basically, getting old, I think, is one thing that does it, but also buying a beautiful house or moving in, I had visions of making things better. And because we've got a lovely frontage, which half of it is footpath, I just decided to do the best I could and get rid of the weeds and get it cut short. And Alison, my wife, she's like, oh, you know, let's do this first, do that. But slowly but surely, it's taken me 3 years just to try and change what I've got. You know, make that,
Yeah.
get rid of the weeds, which I got Coochie Hydrogreen in first, and then sprayed it all to get rid of it. And then you learn things, and I found you guys, and just gone from there up to there so far. And the neighbours are all, you know, starting to do theirs as well. I've been on it a while. So yeah,
That's cool.
it's not easy. It's patience, tins.
Yeah,
That's
it
right.
is, yeah.
Plenty of them.
A lot of patience, tins.
That's
Yeah.
right. Exactly.
So probably a shout out to all those southern states who are in lockdown. It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a great time to
Renovate your lawn.
Go
To-
outside and
do stuff on
hand
your
weed,
lawn.
hand weed some lawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, get some beats cranking, whether it's earphones, and just do some stuff.
They're great.
Hand weeding,
Hand weed.
you know.
Just get outside. Just connect with your grass.
Yeah, take your shoes off. if
Rory
it's not
misses
cold
me.
enough.
Rory misses me. Rory is.
Rory, you
I work with
deserve
him
it.
at Belinda Golf Course. He's
Oh, yeah?
just
Is that the young lad that's gone off and started to do his? Yeah,
he's
what's
gone
all
off
that
to
post?
RQ, to Royal Queensland. He started his green. Well, he's in his second year greenkeeping.
Good luck, Rory. Yeah.
Yeah, good on you, mate.
You end up like Wally. Maybe one day.
I reckon you'll go a long way, Rory, mate. You're very interested. You're inquisitive and you're keen to learn. So
Yeah,
you'll go far, mate.
He
Good
will.
luck.
Yeah.
but he's got to stop supporting the Broncos.
Oh,
Oh.
stay out of
Oh.
it. Stay out of it.
Cowboys, come on, Cowboys.
Come on, the
We're still
Tigers.
above
He's been
everyone.
waiting the Tigers. He's been waiting all night to.
Oh man,
So I don't often get a chance to
You
give
do
you
every
crap.
every time they come to Suncorp.
They're our bogey team.
They are.
They just,
Mate, it's a
They've been
fortress.
you Broncos as well.
yeah.
It's the Tigers' fortress, mate.
Mate, I've,
Some call it the Tigers' fortress.
It is. I think, like, I've been to a couple of games there in the last few years. You got trounced every time.
Mm.
One time they won on the hoot at like the very last second. I've been
It's fun
feeding
time,
all these
thank you.
fans all night, and I just turned around. They both just fed it to me. I was like, I deserve every bit of that.
Sorry.
Speaking of Suncorp,
Yeah.
copped a flogging on Saturday night from the Wallabies. I was there. I went to the Wallabies just Saturday night. It was a very, very good game of football.
My friend with the French game, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, my
the
friend,
Frogs, yeah.
my English friend was supporting France.
Was he?
really?
Yeah, Mr. Hume.
That's unheard of.
Unheard of.
Over your dead body.
But, you know, French over the Aussies, and he lives here. Couldn't believe it.
Unbelievable.
We actually got a good friend of ours, Pat. He took us to watch the rugby league final between England and Australia a few years back, and it was all corporate.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll never forget because I'm sat there and Steve's there, and the English anthem comes on, and Steve stands up and starts singing, and he looks down at me, and I'm still sat down. He's like, "What you doing?" I said, "I'll wait for the next one." And the Aussies won by 1 point.
I actually went to the Four
Chris
Nations.
Noah didn't, mate.
Yeah.
It was at Anfield, and it was Australia versus New Zealand in the Four Nations final. And all of the English were going for New Zealand. They obviously hate Aussies being good at rugby league. Cause,
Scousers, yeah.
yeah. And but Australia absolutely pumped them.
Yeah.
Like it was unbelievable. We
Yeah.
had
I
a
always
pretty
go
good
Aussie
team.
league, but then Union's always normally England. You know, but
Yeah.
That game was unbelievable though. That's the first time I have seen the Wallabies with so much fight.
yeah,
it
they were
was
down
just
in that,
bit-
weren't
bit
they?
of heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the worst,
Hartledge.
the worst refereeing decision I've ever seen in any game of football,
Mm.
any code. It
Yeah.
was just what they
Yeah.
did to Marika Korobidi was just borderline call the UN,
Yeah.
call the United Nations. That was just rubbish.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
I think it's like just a bad thing for the game in general. Like you kick someone out who's probably been the best player of that whole series,
Yeah.
and crowds and kids go to watch someone like that play. Like
Yeah,
I've never seen a bloke run at full speed and jump like other than Aussie rules, but in Union he'll jump from like 5 meters away and catch the ball on the fly
And
Yeah.
and run into contact. Like
Yeah.
it's unbelievable. And for them to do that, like it did put, I admit, like a bit of a dampener for like the first 10 minutes.
it was
after
only
that.
like 2 minutes into the
first
game
20
we,
minutes.
we lost Felipe Daugunu with a wrist. Like I think he broke his wrist.
Yeah.
But so both wingers gone within the first 5 minutes,
Mm.
and then they brought on Reece Hodge, who is like the slowest back we've
Yeah.
ever had produced.
Can tackle though. Did hold his
Can
own
tackle,
in defence.
can kick.
Yeah.
He's got all the skills. He just needs to be quicker.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And you're not. That's something like you're not born with, really. To be honest.
Speed.
If you're not born with pace, you're not going to really develop it, are you?
No, I'm built for comfort, mate. Now.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah, not
comfort,
speed
not
anymore.
speed. No.
On the back of a Lincoln, I am.
Watch out for the 40 square
That's
metres.
right. All right, I got some questions coming through on the tubes.
The tubes.
Yeah. Daniel's lawn care. That's one we need to send this stuff to for the Torrey comp still.
Oh yeah.
Would you guys oversize cooch
And Chris.
in a fairly shaded area with ryegrass in autumn?
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends what he wants. Like, does it get full sun? Is it kind of on the southern side? Does it get full sun in summer? Is he worried about transitioning it? If he's not, then there's no reason why he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
If he wanted to do it, if he thinks it's going to be too much of a muck around with like either taking the rye out on the other side, so in spring.
Yeah.
then don't bother. But if
does
he's
rye, so obviously if you do oversow with rye, it's going to die out in summer.
well, it depends. If you're down south, sometimes it's persistent in a shady area.
Right, so it
Yeah.
stays there.
Because it's
Stays.
cool enough. But if it's like kind of, you know, if you're Sydney North, you can just take it out with the heat, really. Heat and cutting height, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you cut it lower.
I can understand why people are doing it up here because you know the cooch. I haven't got full sun all day at the front, which is good, or most of it.
Mm.
But you know, you put that rye in and it looks amazing. But as you say, it's like come summertime, I suppose it will just die out in our summer.
I think we'd done. I know, like back in the day, like when I was at SRI, they did research on like that transition thing, like when you go like cool to warm, and every successive year you oversow with ryegrass, you lose about 5 to 10% of your cover of warm season that you like it doesn't get back to.
Yeah.
And so
it's
if
been
you
effectively shaded out.
yeah,
Really.
and so if you go to like a stadium that's like a transitional stadium that has like successive oversows like over a period of like 4 or 5 years, you'll find that they'll never get back to full cover, and that's why they go for turf replacement.
Yeah.
So like probably what you'd see is like a lot of people that do the ryegrass, and then they see everyone has these awesome lawns come like October, November, they regret doing it, and you'll see like them go, no, I'm never oversowing again. So a lot of
Know
people
a few
that,
people from last year that got on the rye train, and they're like,
I'm unsure
"It's so pain."
whether I would again.
I think the key up here, and it
That's what
sounds
I'm saying,
ridiculous,
yeah.
is actually if you're going for aesthetic, a lot of the time like I find like we always go the rate real high. You go a low rate, you go like 2 to 2.5 kilos per 100 square meters, like really low, and it's just for look, and you actually thin it out through the season, whether you use Primo to keep it at bay, and you actually groom ryegrass, and you'll find that if you actually take it out, like spray it out come like August, you can actually your transition's really no different. But then you're only going to be having rye probably from like April through to that end of July.
Yeah.
Like I'd say like anyone who's serious about transitioning,
and the
take their
chems to
rye
get
out the
it
next
out
few weeks.
is all.
A lot of
like,
it's
not really-
non-domestic use.
Yeah.
Like there are ones you can use, but then the expense of them.
Yeah.
Probably the one you could really
Tribute.
get your hands on is Tribute.
Yeah.
Maybe a Paspalum killer might do it, but
Yeah.
the Tribute's generally the one you
DSMA
get.
does take
But
it out
that'll,
after
that'll
a few
smoke blue
apps.
cooch too, so
Yeah.
Don't want to smoke my blue cooch.
doesn't dry very well.
No, I love it. No, I mean, you know, don't want to spray and like, oh, I did that once with the lawn, you know, before I knew what I was doing, and God, you know, you're like, oh yeah, I'll just use this. I think it's Paspalum kill, yeah. And next minute I'm spraying everything, and
Next minute.
I had a load of Paspalum in one corner and some lovely, you know, blue cooch, and then it all just went. I'm like, oh, but give it time, it all came back.
Yeah.
The other thing with like a lot of these active ingredients to spray things like ryegrass out, and we had Nadeem on like probably a few
He's just
times ago.
commented. He loves his ryegrass.
Is like resistance management with things like Power Annual, but also like ryegrass. Like half the reason like they don't want people spraying it out, and then one, it's unsafe, but two is actually like just it like you can eventually build up resistant populations of ryegrass, because some of these chemicals, you know, they may not necessarily be effective like that first hit, and sometimes you can actually build resistance in a population. And so like I've seen in like the US, like we don't seem to struggle too hard with like sedge over here in warm season, but sedge from what I see is like
Is that not grass? That
yeah.
Yeah.
It is
And
like
Melon did be.
it's probably worse than crow's foot. It's like the Poa annua of warm season climates, and now they're struggling to chemically control that in the US because of resistance.
we've been spraying it with so much.
Yeah, and they're going out with things like Monument as an example, and
Chin
now
chin.
that's become relatively ineffective. So they've got to
Right,
look
yeah.
for a different rotation,
Yeah.
different active ingredient, use pre-emergent herbicides more effectively. So yeah, there's a few considerations around ryegrass.
Yeah.
There was a question before about, we chatted about it, about the not taking into account application rates and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
The difference between, say, embargo and barricade was just longevity in the soil, really, wasn't it?
Longevity and rate in use.
In the rate,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, longevity.
Yeah.
Or debut.
Yeah.
Or debut.
But if it's longevity,
Longevity.
it's
Yeah.
only got No, it's got one G, not two.
Longevity.
So you're pronouncing two G's.
No, not longevity. Oh, here we go. No, L-O-N, Jevity. There you go. Sorry, Walt.
No, that's it. That's basically part of the key difference.
The application rate was 50 per 100,
And
50
probably-
mils per 100 for the embargo, and it was
But it
20.
also,
I think it was like 20 mil.
the longevity is totally dependent on the how that chemical's formulated, but also how that chemical works in soil. So like it might, I don't know enough about like the chemical makeup, but I'd hazard a guess that it binds the organic matter more effectively. So Barricade has a wider use.
And that
Like,
that's been phased out too.
As an example, like you might be able to spray Barricade in a wetter area, as an example.
Yeah.
Because it'll actually bind the organic matter more effectively, but a Riesling may not be like directed for that use.
Just
Yep.
seep through, you mean?
Yeah, like it might be
Well,
more
hang on.
prone to leaching
Yeah.
because it doesn't actually bind as long.
Michelle's relaxing in the spa with the Sennheiser bloody headphones on, glass of wine.
The dream.
What's she listening to then?
Us.
Us.
Oh, I thought it was Iron Maiden. Is that Michelle Dickinson?
Yeah.
Who's married to
Married to Bruce.
Bruce
Yeah,
Dickinson. Yeah.
yeah. Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden.
You have to pop up because I'm in Redland Bay, so I'll have to, go down.
Isn't he a legend? Like, at one stage he was had to make a decision on his career between singing for Iron Maiden or fencing, being a sword fighter in the Olympics for Great Britain.
Yeah.
What
would you do?
Iron Maiden. Every day. of the week.
As if you wouldn't.
Mate, as if you-
Rockstar,
Yeah,
fencer,
but,
like
How
some
much,
weird,
how
minute
much money you
sport.
gonna make sword fighting? Nothing.
Yeah,
But
that-
now he's
that's
a
unusual.
commercial pilot.
Yeah.
Well, he flies the band around in the
Right,
John Travolta.
747.
unreal.
Not like Ozzy Osbourne's pilot then.
No.
Ooh.
Enigma type
Yeah.
operator.
Should we do a loop the loop? Reminds me of that time on. Do you remember Gibbo Stars in Their Eyes? Matthew Kelly. Yeah. So what? Did you ever see that program?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, these guys aren't
Oh,
clever. Yeah.
sorry, I'm doing two things at once.
Oh. Speak to my wife. So Stars in Their Eyes was basically so you get like Wally and he's a really good Michael Jackson impersonator, whatever. So it says tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be Michael Jackson, and then these doors open and there's loads of smoke and he goes in and then he comes back out and he's dressed as Michael Jackson and he does his bit. One guy did, I think it was, God, what's he called? Not Chuck Berry. Oh, anyway, he went in the smoke, never came out. He died in a plane crash.
John,
Buddy Holly or something.
Buddy
Yeah,
Holly,
Buddy
yeah,
Holly,
sorry, Buddy
yeah.
Holly, yeah.
There you go.
J.O.K. Johnny O'Keefe.
That's
wasn't
like Travis from Blink 182.
I'm off him now. He's caught up in the Kardashian web.
He survived
really?
a plane
It was the
crash.
Kardashians.
You know.
He survived a plane crash.
Yeah.
And he said, "I'm never getting in a plane again." And then they said, "Come on, mate, we got a tour overseas." So he gets in a plane and bloody crashes, survives it, will not go.
Again,
in a plane.
third
No,
time
will
unlucky.
not, will
That's,
not.
I reckon Ray Warren's like that, just this fear
Yeah.
of flying. And so, like, he'll opt to drive, like, to most regional New South Wales areas.
Yeah.
And if he can drive to Suncorp, he will.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need to, because my other half, my darling wife, I mean, we need to ask the people out there what's the daftest things their partners have ever said. And here's one. I hope she's not watching. But, so,
She will be.
yeah.
I hope
just
she is.
Talking about plane crashes, Frankie Dettori, the jockey, Italian jockey, yeah, he came on the news because I did a fair bit with race horses back in the day, and came on the news that he'd been injured in a plane crash. Yeah, she phones me up. She goes, "Have you heard the news?" I'm like, "What? Frankie Dettori's been injured in a plane crash. How's the horse?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? How's the horse?" So then she says, "Well, obviously he's been hit by a plane." And she must have thought, as they're racing, this plane's come down and clipped him. I says, "No, jockeys get from race course to race course via a plane."
Oh my god.
Oh, she's done a few.
Wally copped an absolute flogging about his beard earlier tonight, Chris. Yeah, they want to know if he feels left out of the beard gang. You still didn't, adequately explain why you're beardless. I wouldn't be allowed in the house if I was beardless.
I didn't realise you had so many chins, Wal.
Neither did he. That's why he's back into the touch. He shaved it off. He's like, shit. My
Did you
8-month-old pulled
Did
one
he use a
off.
4-wheel
He's got
drive?
such a good grip. Yeah.
No, just I don't know.
He grows a beard that quick. it'll be
Just
back to
got
mine.
over it.
I can see the roots there. That coochie's coming through, kid.
By the next one, I'll have a beard,
Yeah.
guaranteed.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Fortnight, I'll have a beard.
yeah.
For the players at home,
Yeah.
I feed it Stress Buster, just rub it in, aftershave, just all good.
Splash it all over. Get a boot, kid.
Stress Busters smells like molasses. It smells great.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
I've never
Yeah,
tried
yeah.
that. Yeah. I'll have to send me some.
Really good. Yeah, you'll have to get some Stress Buster.
Stress
Yeah,
buster.
it'll change your life.
Oh,
I
it's
love that
great.
stuff. Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's
great.
really
It's the
good.
best stuff to spray. It's like if you're going to spray any chemical and inhale it, that's what you would do.
Yeah, 'cause it's actually
It's
that's
safe.
really
It's safe to inhale. Just saying.
Stress
good.
buster.
Just saying, yeah.
Vital Nova.
Is it good for your lawn then? Or not?
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It
Yeah,
makes
we
it
don't
glow,
know.
mate. Makes it
Heap
glow.
I'm going to sneak it into my missus' coffee too when I get some.
Stress buster.
Yes.
But you're the stress buster. You're like the stress.
Yeah.
You need something to bust the
I'm
stress.
actually not. I'm quite mellow most of the time, except for last Friday night.
What
Later
happened
on
Friday
the dance
night?
floor. It was
Oh.
like that wedding.
Oh, your wedding.
Oh, look at
John Travolta. Were you allowed to dance? Oh, yeah, we were in lockdown, weren't we?
We were, but we didn't stop us.
Okay.
Don't admit that.
Yeah.
When we've got the,
In the toilets with your masks on.
yeah. So, where are we on our turf calendar? We're sort of halfway through.
Sorry, mate.
No, you're
You
not.
spat at him.
Just a bit of pre.
Pre-beard.
Yep.
So we're
Did
going
John's
through
time
the
video?
going through our winter. We're getting close to
Renault season.
Renault season. We're what month is it? Middle of July. I can't even think at the moment.
August next, Wally.
Sorry.
Yeah,
20th.
August. So
Yeah.
is it? I think mid-August we're starting to look at soil temps and for a Renault season, aren't we?
Up here, yep. Probably, I reckon it goes like, it almost is like start of September up here, and then it goes like mid to late September Sydney, and then like mid to late October for Vic, and kind of down that way.
And sort of there's one day in December for Tasmania,
Yeah,
and then it's back into
Yeah.
cold season again.
yeah. It's like the Sydney to Hobart when the wind stops. It's like, oh, quick, right outside. You gotta watch the
It's the
coverage.
one
though.
day of the year they can spray.
Is it that cold down there?
Christmas Day, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you thought England was cold, mate.
Oh, come on. We're out with our shirts off in a beer garden at like 15 degrees.
Yeah.
Now at 18 degrees, I mean, I'm like...
You
two
got the
chap-
fire going
I've
outside.
got fire
It's-
going, 2 chapel hat pegs, yeah, it's not very, 18. Freezing.
My sister had -7 the other morning.
Yeah. Where's she at?
Armidale, New South Wales.
Yeah, it gets
Top of the mountain.
I went fishing with the boys once down to Ben's Falls, which is a really good place for Murray cod fishing.
Oh
And I slept outside in my swag and it was -4,
yeah.
and they all thought I was bar, mate.
But you didn't.
But my
It's a
sleeping,
swag,
my
mate.
sleeping bag's rated to like -11, which I didn't
Yeah.
tell them.
And then you're inside a swag.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true,
they-
yeah.
yeah,
Cool,
toasty.
Love them.
I love swags.
So
Love it.
good.
Life's so much more complex now with the caravan and 2 kids and all.
Yeah.
We used to esky, swag, Slears on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the rigmarole of going camping with 2.
You will
Two
get rid
keys.
of it,
Oh,
honestly, later
oh.
down the track. When you become a jippo, because that's the traveller.
A
that's
jippo.
what you are. You're a
Yeah,
jippo now.
pikes.
Yeah, pikes.
Yeah,
Do you like
pikes.
dogs? I love dogs.
I love
Yeah,
dogs.
Dogs
I
are
love
good.
dogs.
Dogs.
Love 'em.
Yeah.
Chris, you probably want your soil above 22 degrees at least before you
Yeah.
start hooking in.
Minimum.
Uh,
I used to always, before I got into this, I used to do all my scalping stuff. Last weekend of August was always my time. But I've since
You
left.
got to battle it though. Then once
It
you do
takes
that,
too
you got
long to get
you're
back.
fighting too long against weeds because you don't want to put even pre-em down too early.
No.
So yeah, you're better off just going when it's on your side.
So what's the best lawn for a spot that gets absolutely sun all year round?
Absolutely sun or absolutely no?
Absolutely no sun all year round. Fake grass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
You can
You
get
need light.
Concrete's
like
pretty
get
good.
stuff like smooth smother or stuff like that. It will grow on minimal sunlight, but you
still
can't
need,
walk on
like-
it.
You still need like
It's more
2 or
decorative
3
than
hours.
yeah.
What's that stuff I saw that's advertised? It was like liquid sunshine.
Yeah, no.
Don't bother with that. Don't bother with that.
It's
We don't want to talk about it.
No.
it's like
There's
it's feeding the plant sugar more.
There's a requirement.
For it.
There's
You
a
still need
requirement
it.
of sun by like every turf cultivar, and like that liquid sunshine like will probably like deliver it up to that requirement, maybe, and then it just still isn't enough to
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 do
take it
Because
further.
obviously photosynthesis is that's what it needs.
It's good word for you guys.
Thank you.
Well done.
I've been learning it all day.
It's like,
Whereas for Tom,
now spell it. No, got a question from Karthik on the old tubes. Wally, should I continue to apply Blade and Stress Buster through August per the Oz LF plan, even if my lawn's pretty close to being asleep?
Yeah, yeah. Because
You're
even
going to
if
suck
it
in that iron and keep it nice. and
even
round.
if it is asleep, you're still gonna. You probably won't go to full dormancy on Cooch. So like I'd say like I'd whack out. Well, Blade's not really like. If you look at the MPK in there, it's not massively high, but what it is like it's feeding like your microbial population in the soil. So you probably still want to feed that. Like it's not going to be like heaps active, but you still want to apply it. Stress Buster, you're still going to deliver a certain portion of nitrogen, iron, amino acids, sugars. So it's still going to achieve a little bit, you know. It's only 2 applications. I'd say drop your rate right down because the requirement's going to be much lower.
Yeah.
So I know the label rates are 20 to 50 litres a hectare or 2 mils per 100 square.
Yeah.
You could even go lower than that if you want. You could go 100 mils
Yeah.
per 100 square metres, and just give it a really light drip feed. But you'll find come September it'll probably spring out again.
If anyone watching or listening is asking about the OzLF plans, they're available in the file section on the page. If you go to the top of the page, go across, there's a file section, and all the plans done up by Wally himself are in there. Also, you can purchase all the products involved in those from Lawn Care Supplies, which we get a discount through, which is 10% off. Is that
5%.
5% from Lawn Care
Right.
Supplies?
But we do have a special thing coming up in August. Well, sorry, not we. They, because that's not me. They have a special thing coming up in August with a bigger discount, and they are teaming up with Wall, and we're going to have a comp.
Yes,
It's going to be massive.
it's going to be
The
huge.
prizes
bro!
prizes are going to be sick.
You get free barbecue from me as well.
I would say they're the best
Top me up,
prices
right?
we've given away as the Fanatic so far. I'll put that out there. Yeah, also the rest of our sponsors, or not sponsors, but the people who look after us, Plant Doctor, 10% off. Water Pro, Clint, thank you very much. 10% off using the OzLF, capital AUSLF, at the discount codes, and you can save yourself some money there, purchasing through the people that support us.
I can't even read that. I've got my glasses.
You've been next to Wally for half an hour and the big words are coming out. He has that effect on people.
I'm just wondering when this other round's going. I think I'm being probed by Wall. He does have that effect on me, unfortunately. It's quite nice, actually. It's like a warm rug.
What
face
did
rug's
Karthik win? Did he win the other Mo Master?
No, he won the.
He won the total dominance.
The total.
pack.
Oh, right, yeah, well, yeah. Yes, Karthik, it is bigger than that.
Yes, Chris.
In a big way.
Hold
So,
off. Wait, just wait, Chris.
Bigger. That's it.
Yeah, hold off, boys.
So hold off on your purchases for your next growing season because there will be very good discounts through Lawn Care Supplies in August.
Yeah.
And a competition attached to that, which involves a
a thing with a
thing with a
things.
it's not a it's like ooh.
Oh, excuse
Yeah, it
me.
makes you go, ooh.
And it's totally, the comp is actually going to be crowd based too, so fanatics
correct.
based. So like, yeah, basically
We'll
whoever
talk
votes,
about that over the next upcoming Grass
wins.
Club. Yeah. Oh, Karthik, Damn girl.
Oh, dang.
What else was some of these questions from before? We had them here. Here we go.
What the hell is going on your messenger?
Just-
Holy. Single wiggle one at a time.
Ting Tong's found him.
you know when the boys get on, when they're doing Fox Sports interviews and people
Oh, yeah.
call them or send them stuff while they're trying to concentrate. That's what's happening here with my mates. It is 73. The most ridiculous things.
How did she do
I
that?
don't know, man. I don't know. Renee, can you try that?
Who in the what?
Yeah, that's right. It's going off. Oh my god, I'm going.
Goodness
Really need to
gracious.
take the hoodie off. Oh my god.
That's why I shaved my beard off, mate. I just got under the collar and I needed to create air. No.
Did we covered off the stuff with yes, we
Barricade
did.
and-
Yeah.
No, it doesn't involve a date with Wally.
May do.
What are your thoughts on Shirley's fertiliser?
Shirley's number 17.
Yeah, hasn't it got a lot of heavy metals in it?
I think if you flip the bag over, you'll find that it predominates.
So
like
if you
it-
flip Shirley over,
Yeah.
you're flipping Shirley over now.
Mate, ease up. If you flip the bag over, you'll find the predominance of it is just conventional release fertilizer. I think it might be an organo mineral, so it's kind of like style, but probably 70% of it is like urea, which you can, it's cheap. It's cheap to make. It probably appears cheap to buy, but that's because it's really, really cheap to make.
Promotes vigorous and healthy growth and good colour. That to me just sounds like
What's the?
I'm just
Interesting,
looking at
isn't
it now.
It'll have your active ingredients. I think it's like 17% urea or something from memory.
Label.
So urea's, what's that in chemical wise? Is that nitrogen? Or?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
straight
yeah,
nitrogen.
yeah. So
46.
it's like candy.
9.5 nitrogen as
9.5
ammonia.
There you go,
as
that's
ammonia.
Oh, so it's ammonium sulfate.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
And what's the? Is there anything other nitrogen source in there?
No.
It's got cadmium, 10.9% cadmium and
Really?
1.3% mercury.
That's a lot. That's really
Mercury.
high in heavy metals.
Yeah.
So that's Ramstein heavy metals. That's,
Yeah.
that's how heavy that
That's
is.
that's a lot.
So your microwave, once you sprayed it, it'll probably go off in your house.
That's right. It automatically starts.
Yeah, ding!
Well-
What's going on?
Just for those playing at home, many years ago they used to use mercury-based fungicides on bowling greens.
Yeah.
And a lot of old bowling green sites. I think there's one up for redevelopment at the moment, but a lot of old bowling green sites don't get touched for redevelopment because of the mercury in the soil profile. From all
Yeah,
the heavy
from what I've
metals.
heard, they have to
Wow.
dig down a couple of metres
Yeah.
and put the soil into drums, seal the drums, and
Yeah.
take
Yeah,
them away.
'cause
Well,
the mercury is that high.
I heard that when the English used to come over for
Well,
the
bad on
competition,
bad, Nathan. Bad.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's lost.
the jack
bad.
ball had mercury in it, so, and their balls they could cheat.
Wow.
That's well, you know.
So what else is in that bag? Is it potassium chloride or something?
Potassium K as sulfate,
Oh yeah.
and calcium C as superphosphate.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
got citrate insoluble,
The-
citrate
The
soluble.
fact that
waters. Yeah.
That's really high in cadmium.
yeah, cadmium 10.9.
That is
That's just
unbelievable.
mind-blowing
That's like every
bad.
kilo you're putting out 109 grams of cadmium.
Yeah.
On your soil.
Where's Lacey?
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, whoever asked that question, I would be staying away from that.
Yeah,
Just so.
sounds
Well,
like
it really offers nothing in terms of like if you wanted to feed with that every 3 weeks, but then you're gonna have to put out cadmium in that amount every 3 weeks.
It's
as well,
saying
so
use 50 grams per square meter of lawn when fertilizing,
that is a lot.
Oh,
at,
yeah.
That's a
at a
lot.
lower rate of 10 grams per square meter in summer.
50
that's-
grams per square metre.
That's 1 to 5 kilos per
That's
100.
exactly what it says.
That's a lot for ammonium sulfate too.
There's a big chance of burning.
I won't be
Yeah.
smoking if you walk past there.
Yeah, I'd say it's
Your
probably
lawn will be smoking.
if you
Yeah.
want to save money, actually save money and actually put less fertilizer out and have a healthier lawn. There's like so many suppliers on the page that offer fertilizer that have good longevity. The application rate's much lower than that,
Yeah.
and the quality that you'll get out of it, and that there's little to no heavy metals in all those products.
So that's a product that he probably looked at on the shelf in Bunnings. So,
Yeah,
So this actually
if
has.
you're in Bunnings, then go and get Scott's, go and get Munns. They both do good
I
fertiliser.
just-
It'll last
yeah.
a lot longer.
Below this analysis on the thing, if anyone wants to look this up, there is a straight up warning under the label that says This product contains heavy metal impurities. It may result in accumulation of cadmium
Accumulation. I'll give them-
Accumulation.
of mercury in your soil.
Yeah.
So, like,
I think,
using over a long period of time, I would.
I think like even councils now are like looking at like they used to opt for cheap grade fertilizer as an example, and a lot of them
Sorry.
are opting away from it because of
Yeah.
that exact reason. You know, because you end up just sinking heavy metals in your soil. So yeah, it's a big issue. Don't look at the back of the bag and
I can't believe
Like
it's legal.
Michelle
I
says,
can't believe it's
that
legal
little
to sell
under
it.
damage to the microbes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
for
That's
sure.
it's so bad. That's really bad practice.
So, anyway, that's great question, whoever that was.
Nathan.
Nathan, thank you for.
Nathan Lewis, Wally's young fella.
Don't turn the bag over, just kick her out the door. There you go.
BJ Wallace is stitching me up left, right, and centre here.
Is that behind
Yeah, of course it is.
I
I just need to close Messenger just until we get this.
got
out
a
of
good
the
one
way.
before.
Oh
There's a
my.
guy applying for the government thing because unemployment benefits application, occupation burglar. Reason for unemployment: everyone's home.
He's obviously a scouser then.
Yeah. Hey.
Can Nadeem, can you guys make comment on over fertilisation on lawns this time of year leading to dollar spot and Helmo? Really shouldn't be much of an issue unless wet and shady.
We've had a pretty moist winter up here, so we've got dollar spot for that reason in a lot of cases, and because we haven't been feeding a lot of the time. But on the flip side of where Nadeem is in Melbourne, that's
Yeah.
No, he's in Sydney.
Sydney, yeah.
Yeah,
Still.
he's locked down central.
So really, the causes of both those is too much moisture, and it could be more often than not it's profile related. So it's like how that like what kind of landscaping soil and stuff they use. You know,
Yep.
it might not be very free draining, so it's like perching really high, it's staying too wet. But conversely, like they're not looking at their timing of nutrition, and then they might be putting like something like a granular fert as an example, and you'll see in our program, we don't put granular fert out in the winter as an example, but it's just bad practice. So, yeah, oftentimes you'll find like diseases are caused by your cultural controls, so moisture, nutrition.
And you can't
Whatever it is.
control that. Well, I suppose the moisture you can't really, if it rains a lot.
You can,
Yeah.
you can if you have a good drainage,
Yeah,
good drainage
okay.
profile, and the right kind of cultivars. Like you'll see, you know, dollar spot come through on specific cultivars and specific grasses at certain times of the year because that's when that grass is susceptible at that
So,
time
yeah.
of year.
What's your thoughts on Incitec Pivot granular ferts? I think they're mostly designed for crops.
Yeah.
So they're a lot of upfront nutrients to get crops up and out of the ground. But again, their longevity in the soil or for the availability of the plant to feed off it for a long time, it's just not there.
You got to look at like what those fertilizers are designed to do. So like an agronomist would go out, soil test, and these are on farms that are hectares and hectares, and so the price point of that fertilizer is really low. The quality of the fertilizer is really low.
Yep.
And they're basically putting fertilizer based on a predicted yield of a crop, and they'll go, if we put X amount of N on, we should get X amount of yield based on this soil test.
Yep.
It's just about predictability. It's about delivering a certain volume, but really like there's no underlying agronomy behind it because you can still put, you know, X amount of CK88 as an example down, but the true longevity of that might only be, and we did testing with Sire with this on sugarcane as an example.
Yep.
About 10 years ago, ICL commissioned that research, so it was PhD funded, like there was all this, and we looked at the longevity of like that type of product versus a controlled release, and that type of product, like the nitrogen source only lasted about 4 weeks. And so in theory, you're going to deliver X amount of nitrogen and deliver that yield, but you're only delivering that amount of nitrogen for 4 weeks, and then
Correct.
while that crop's senescing for the other 6 months or however long it takes to come into production, you have no nitrogen sitting there.
Yeah.
And we compared it against Poly S, which is what's in some of those control release fertilizer blends. And that lasted 3 months.
Yeah.
That's that one I use, I think. Is that in my that Formula One that all rounder I put down?
Yeah,
for
yeah.
last
That's
year,
that one.
Yeah. And so like,
Brilliant stuff.
you imagine putting that down and a small amount of nutrition comes out of the granule every single day for the stated longevity. It's way better agronomically, but it actually delivers the nutrition matching kind of the crop growth. and so like we're probably using something that's agricultural on turf when it, in theory, like well, it doesn't even apply to turf.
Yeah.
You cannot, like it doesn't work.
So
for
old
turf
Red Bull
grass.
to a toddler theory, isn't it, Lenny?
Yeah. Don't give Red Bull to a toddler because it's a lot of fun for a little while.
If you are going to
Then
use
it's
it,
a hangover.
Then there's a long.
well, there's a
hangover
lot.
effect.
There's
But it's
the
not going to be great for them overall.
there's the,
Same with
the
CKAs
downside of
anymore.
using it is one, the longevity. Like if it's only 4 weeks, you got to put it on every 4 weeks. But two, like a lot of the time, the salt index of those kinds of fertilizers is really high.
Yeah.
And so every time you're putting it down,
Or it could have
You
like
are-
heavy metals in it. as
you
well.
are putting down heavy metals. You're putting down something that's high in salt index, and because the longevity is not long, you've got to put more of it out, and a lot of it, probably about 70% of it's lost anyway through volatility and leaching. So
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's
All
awesome.
that Benny said
Oh.
there.
Can you do
Incitec-
me like I could just go to sleep to you. You need to do, I reckon.
Get the horn.
No, not that. The Lawn Fanatics Sleep to Wally tape.
Oh, well,
Podcast.
We're on Spotify,
On
mate.
Spotify. you can
This will be on
listen
There we go.
Spotify as soon as Gibbo gets
There we
around
go.
uploading
Yeah,
it. So you
imagine
just
that.
listen to that, mate, and you can hear yourself. And you go, oh, crikey, do I
Whoa.
sound
Oh,
like that?
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, like
Thank God.
in
Jesus,
short,
I need to
no.
change my accent.
No, there's
Ah.
just way better fertilizers and way better designed fertilizers for specific for turf
All
grass
horns.
use.
Yeah, exactly.
Nico, having been slacking the mowing and fert department, should we wait until spring or throw some fert down now to get the cooch ready? Wait till spring, mate.
Yeah.
Coach is like if
It's
you
not
look
going
at
to
the
take,
growth rate.
not going to suck much up.
Mine's growing. Mine has not gone dormant.
Well, I
because
think
last week it was warm.
yeah, but
it's
if
still growing. No, it's
if-
never gone dormant.
Hasn't really. We haven't really gone.
if you
cold
looked
yet.
at
yeah.
if you looked at Queensland's growth potential, it's like this time of year, it's probably about 70% of what it could potentially grow. So like if you're delivering, let's just say like 2.5 kilos of nitrogen, and you divide that by 12, it's roughly whatever it is, 25
Five,
grams
yeah.
or whatever. 70% of 25 grams is the amount of nitrogen you need to deliver up here. Conversely, in Sydney, their growth potential might only be 50. And so, like, that 25 grams starts looking like 12 and a half.
Correct.
And you physically can't get the application right with a granular fert, so you opt for foliar because you can deliver that amount effectively and evenly over the
To keep
surface.
it growing. you
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
And then Victoria might be only like 20, 30%.
Hmm.
And so it's almost like, well, do I even bother?
Yeah.
You know? Or should I just give
I
it a
noticed
really
last
light
year,
amount?
Gary, you're saying yours not growing. Like, I noticed last year it wasn't until the first week or second week of August that mine actually slowed down.
Yeah.
For a few weeks. But, like, even now, I'm still mowing twice a week, and I reckon I'm still taking 2 full big catches
Yeah,
off
yeah.
my front lawn. Or, like, and, like, you know how big that MEY catcher is. It's huge.
Once a week now, and
It's
that's what I've
coffin.
left it.
It is.
It's a coffee.
For me, it would
Is it?
be.
Can I have a Sherby, please?
Blue Cooch is really interesting as a turf grass though because it's got a really wide nutritional requirement. Like
Yeah.
it can have, is that rain?
Nah.
I hope not.
It can have
Can
like
be
little
wind.
to nothing. Like I'm
Wind
talking
through
like
the palm trees.
a kilo of nitrogen across a whole year of actual nitrogen, elemental nitrogen, or it can have up to 4 kilos of nitrogen, and your growth response is almost linear.
Yeah.
And so like you can give it way more and it'll grow way more. You can give it way less and it'll grow less, but it'll probably still appear to be okay.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Lovely.
Bradley said, a grass vacuum. It's the best way to remove gravel from the grass.
Get
By
down
hand,
here.
mate.
Get you down here on your hands and
Rake's
A
pretty
vacuum, yeah, right. But a vacuum, they don't really suck up gravel because gravel doesn't have a surface area for it
Yeah.
to get a good hold on it.
The other thing that I've seen is like those power brooms, those like
Yeah.
Roby ones or the
Mm.
still ones that like kind of flick.
We had a go at one of them with an ego one at that turf conference.
Mm.
That was,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
no,
bit of gear.
I think
Hmm.
even like from a cleanup, like if you groomed or something, if you wanted to just like groom your grass up and then cut into it, it'd be great to do something like that.
Yeah.
So you
Funny,
find something so
funny
easy.
thing of the night. Michelle said she had something to do with Incitec and then spelled turf, TIRF.
oh,
Oh,
oh, Michelle, how many wines have you had? For you to spell turf wrong is something that's not right there.
She's probably acting posh.
Turf.
English turf.
Wally looks like a teenager. Stevie Marshall. Hello, Stevie. What soil temp does Zoysia start actively growing again? Seen a few very slowly growing Empire lawns in Brisbane.
My friend who lives at Talai, he's Empire has just stopped, 100% stopped. I'm like, dude, like,
Yeah, it's going to happen.
it's what Empire does. It's not the fastest growing grass in the world.
Mm.
He's like, but I just want to mow more. I was like, just mow it
Go
anyway.
on someone else's.
I wonder if the I'd be interested to like see like the predictions. Like there's like growth when you do, like growth potential calcs, you can like set your max and min temp, and you can get the max and min temps of any city in Australia or anywhere around the world.
Yeah.
And I wonder if like Zoysia's it should be considered similar to Cooch, or if it should be higher. Like I think Cooch is anywhere from like 18 to 31 degrees is where its optimum is in terms of growth.
Yeah.
Zoysia's I reckon would probably be like it might be 31 the upper limit, but it may not be 18. It might be like 23 or 24.
Yeah.
Where that doesn't surprise me because like you see oftentimes like you don't see the full showing of a Zoysia lawn until like November,
Yeah.
December, January, Feb, even in Queensland.
Can't wait to see that with yours.
Yeah.
It should be. Yeah.
Steve's replied with he threw a thermometer in the soil today and it was 16 to 17 degrees. I've often thought about, you know how you got the rainfall charts, doing one for soil temps as well. Maybe not on a daily basis, but you could do it on a weekly basis and chart your soil temp.
The airport.
You could
the
do
bomb,
an Excel
the bomb,
spreadsheet on that.
the
You
bomb,
could do one.
You could. Bomb at the airport do it. Bomb at your nearest big major airports do soil temperature, and they also do evapotranspiration.
Yeah.
And soil temp, like you can just graph it, and you can just have a line of this is when my lawn is growing on a graph, and go that's the date I want to reno.
Yeah.
You know, you can almost pick the intersection on the graph and go as soon as it gets above there, there's my reno.
Yeah. What's your best ICL granular for all round Cooch / Buff established lawn, New South Wales near Newcastle?
All round?
All round.
All round.
Well, no, it depends. Like I've got like two questions: how much do you want to feed? Like how much N do you want to put down? How much do you want to mow? And then there's really like two main options. Is the all round, which is a 4 to 5 month, and if you go at 2 kilos per 100 square meters, it delivers about half a kilo of actual nitrogen. And then there's maintenance, which if you go at 2.5 kilos per 100 square meters, it delivers the same. It delivers half a kilo, but your regularity of application goes up. So rather than put the all round out kind of twice a year, with maintenance you're going 4 to 5 times a year.
Yeah.
One will deliver 1 kilo across the year, and so your growth of your lawn won't be as high, but it's probably not enough for Cooch / Buff. So I'd probably say go the maintenance and do 4 to 5 apps a year.
I love that stuff.
Mate.
That's, I
So
like
good.
that one, but I love them. The maintenance is such a good food.
I agree.
Yeah, well, we've seen a couple of big stadiums and facilities in world sport, and pretty much a lot of the sporting events we spoke about, they all use that product, but it's under a different name.
Benny, reckon when Wally makes a sentence that doesn't have a 3-syllable word involved, he's disappointed. It continues that sentence until he can slip a 3 or 4 syllable word in.
Can we all think of one?
Yeah.
Photosynthesis.
See? Transfer.
That's fine.
No, not bad. Eh? Was taught me his English. I was a grammar boy, you know. I
Good
was
boy.
at grammar school.
Did you?
Yeah, grammar boy. I used to jig off all the time, just going playing golf.
Meant something totally
It
different.
makes something totally different here, buddy.
Oh, jig off.
Whoa!
Bonk off.
Bonk, that's different.
It's even
as well.
worse.
Yeah, that's
Truancy. is
Truancy, I used to
There you
play
go.
truant.
it's like us
the- It's
saying
called wagging.
it's like
here.
us saying dog the boys over here. If we went over there and said it, we'd
Dog the boys. Well, forget this, I'm off to dog the boys. Well, I'm not one of the boys. You dog the dogs, not the boys.
Over here, it's called wag school.
Wagging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I used to wag school a lot. Yeah.
Jig off.
Jig off.
I know because my dad, we had an allotment. You know.
Don't jig off your dad either.
Jig off my dad.
Jesus. Gary.
I never
come
jigged
on.
off my dad. I remember his last words: "Stop shaking that ladder, you little." I mean, we look back at my family history, and apparently my great granddad was killed at the Battle of Little Bighorn.
Wow.
Yeah. he was camping in the next field, and he went over to complain about the noise.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
Hour in the head. Yeah.
Oh no.
You are in the head.
But yeah, we had allotments, so my dad was that age, probably 50 odd, and he decided to start growing things, probably get away from my mum for a while,
Yeah,
as you do.
all that mother.
Could have a look, yeah. And we're growing cabbages, tomatoes, leeks, stuff like that. And I was obviously bored then, because I was only like probably about 10 or 11. And he said, what do you want to do? And we're there on York Racecourse, near Terry's Chocolate Factory. Have you heard of the Terry's Chocolate Orange?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I lived exactly where that was made.
That was bloody Dawn French that used to do the ad over here.
Yeah.
Not Terry's, it's mine.
Yeah. Fuck her off, Terry. Yeah. So he got me, because he never ever bought anything brand new, he'd always get it second hand from the second hand shop. And I ended up with a 3-iron, a bamboo club, with a dotted head. And he cut it down and put insulation tape as a grip. And he went, well, there you go, off you go. So as he's gardening, allotment, I just used to walk around York Racecourse with this 3-iron, just knocking it from furlong to furlong. I'm still crap at golf, but yeah, I tried.
There you go.
Found out you've been hitting from the rough all this time.
He passed from the rough too.
I don't want to ask what that
thing
is.
here too.
I don't want to ask what that is.
And yes, shout out to John O'Cox and his amazing Dry July campaign. Oh, what's that one?
Oh, that's massive.
He's still going.
He's still
Good on
going.
him, John.
He's still going.
It's still
He's
going.
absolute legend. Loves a beer, and he's
Loves the beer.
still kicking along Dry July.
That is massive.
That's a huge achievement.
Shell's commenting on the tubes, asking if we want Dutch pancakes.
Yes. Yes, please.
I might need to go to the little boys' room soon. You don't really get a bottle out, do you?
No.
No,
I was
okay.
gonna
No,
say-
not on
That's
that.
what the giant bong is over there.
I don't think it'll fit, Lenny.
Live feet.
Oh, apparently I'm being told I need to supply a carpet grass fridge. I've got a car fridge out the back deck. I might bring it down here.
Got a fridge
He
out
bought
front.
his fridge with him
Yeah.
too.
I think for future carpet grass, we should have a little pot of carpet grass cranking. Just
A
grow it
little
indoors.
pot of carpet grass
Yeah.
cranking.
Yeah, just have it sitting there.
I'll get
Okay.
some from work.
Little shrine.
I've got carpet at home.
Yeah. And then at the
On the
end of
front
every
verge.
year, we should give away the carpet grass trophy and
That's
we'll give away
right,
a
that's
pot
the
of
pot.
carpet grass, all signed by us.
That's right.
And we'll get everyone who comes on the show to sign it.
Sign the pot
Yeah.
and then you can.
Could
yeah.
we do like no, forget
Oh,
it.
no.
Remember when Mick
Photographs.
Malloy had his variety show or late night show,
Yeah.
and he got that giant thong,
Yeah.
and he was getting all the guests to sign it. After 2 weeks, the show got canned. And his giant thong was as big as his table. And the
Thinking-
two signatures
thinking
on
they'd
it.
fill it up.
Oh dear, unlucky.
Classic stitch up.
Oh, Benny Cameron's got plenty for us to have
Yeah, good.
carpet grass. There's no shortage of carpet grass around.
Oh yeah, I got plenty of carpet grass. I got a section.
Maybe we should have a few pots of it.
I've got a load at my house.
Well, maybe that's what we should do. Anyone who comes on the show
Bring a
should
pot
bring a
of
pot
carpet
of
grass.
carpet grass.
That's their feet.
Well,
Off-
maybe if we can get our
offering.
finger out over the growing season, we can give a pot of carpet grass as a gift.
Yeah, massive. I'll start propagating up some plugs. Come on, that.
There you go. You're all over that. We'll just get some of those real cheap ass pots from Bunno's though. None of the good stuff.
the ones
No,
that crack in the
the
sunlight.
classic like terracotta ones.
Yeah.
El Spaniard.
That's yeah, I know.
You know about going to the green sheds to get the pots, yeah? Because my missus goes in there and she just scares plants. You can see them bend away. Not like you, boy. They all lean towards you because they know you're going to look
Like
after them.
sunflowers to the. Like,
Come home and die with me. Yeah.
I know.
She just murders.
I reckon they can be scared of me. I do some pretty scary stuff to
Yeah.
turf. Like I dabble with I used to dabble with turf.
So like Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, like like to give you an idea.
Wilding
Like,
Scarifier hands, more like it.
the old spray rates and stuff like that you see on labels and stuff. We used to do. I remember doing a 16 times rate of a recommended label rate as a test because it was a.
Were you trying to do a drunk sprayer?
It was it was actually it was for a hose on packer who stood there and like took a phone call or
Yeah.
thought about something and drank too much beer and like
You
held
making
the-
that? You making that?
Smoke.
Sharp down to Durry.
Yeah, and
Oh, bugger.
they held the bloody thingo there too long, And you know, we worked out what that time it would take. Maybe if they held it there for too long, and it was a 16 times label rate of probably like some like the bow and arrow as an example.
Yeah.
I've put that out of the 16 times label rate on like 15 different warm season grasses and watched what it could do.
And
Yeah.
Well, some of it doesn't kill.
uh,
You know, some of it does not kill.
Benny
Yeah.
said we should get you back because your input has been good for a soap dodger.
What's it mean by soap dodger?
oh, come on.
Oh, I never heard that before. I thought, I've never been on Neighbours.
Soap dodger is a pond.
Is it?
Stinky
Yeah.
pond.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, he
Because
dodges
only
the
shower
soap.
once a week.
I'm
Yeah.
a
A
fully-
pommy shower is just a
He's
deodorant
a fully
full
bloody citizen,
citizen,
of
mate.
Australia.
Go and do one.
Yeah.
Go and do one, man.
Do one,
I've
lad.
only got the
Don't
accent
lean on that
left.
too hard,
man.
it'll go.
I've only got the
What he'll
accent
say,
left.
He'll say.
He'll use the force.
Mm.
But like Cooch will just grow in really quickly and hold me up.
What else is happening? Oh, we're going through some initial ideas on redesigning the studio.
Mm.
Open to shout outs, like if you have any ideas.
Yeah, if you got any
Sure,
ideas for a
summertime we'll be out
redesign.
on the lawn.
Yeah, carpet grass table.
Well, we might be able to, but at
I'm
8
thinking
o'clock
that
at night-
Gibbo's Caravan Carpet Grass Club could come up soon. From
Ooh,
live from
sounds
the
good.
caravan.
Caravan.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty comfy.
Pikey's picks. You could have loaded like little greyhounds running around as well, couldn't you?
Or
I've done
a
some-
They're
real
awesome,
grass
mate.
table.
People riding past on trots horses.
Yeah,
and-
you're right, trotting away.
Chris, you spelt real wrong. It's R-E-E-L, mate. Real grass.
Some chairs for fat bricks like me would be handy. Well, see, that's the idea, Benny. Yeah.
What's the language?
Yes.
You get banned if you're not careful.
Yeah.
I know. Gaz
Oh my
got
God, Gary got
pinged
banned.
last
I
week.
got banned, yeah, for being really Australian. I need to go for a Gypsy's Kiss market.
Can you sneak
Right,
past
so I
me?
said Gypsy's
I don't
Kiss.
know if we'll see him come back in.
Oh, you will. Not unless Shelley gets hold of me. Thank you.
Oh, there we go. Moving down the ranks.
Yeah, just Gary out there around the corner, whatever.
We're on.
It's all good.
Right.
And that barbecue, just
We still haven't had any feedback as to what's the most daft thing someone's missus has ever said to them.
I got a few things which she's
or
watching.
bloke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because particularly lawn related, I think.
Yeah, well, like, yeah.
Just we've got a microphone cable hanging in the view on the Facebook one.
Do we?
Yeah.
Do you want me to?
Nah, it doesn't matter. It just
Where?
adds to the ambience.
That's
I'll
the
be
chain.
honest.
Yeah, it's probably that chain up there. You reckon? Maybe. I don't know.
It doesn't look like
There's a lot
it.
going
This
on.
is-
Oh, yeah. I need a little bit.
Nah.
Who knows?
Nah, who cares? No, I don't really care. Beauty. All right. Well, maybe we should finish it while Gary's not here.
No,
Let's come back in.
we'll
and
wait
start
till he comes back.
jobbing off.
It's all good, no chords for Chris. Well, there you go. Maybe if I move the... Oh, it's gone now.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
What are like some of the people on the page doing from a reno perspective anyway? Like when are they planning on reno and where are they from?
Yeah.
And what are they planning on doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, and what do they want to do with their lawn coming out of reno? Like what do they want
Sounds
to
like a
achieve?
Twisted Sister song. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
with your life?
For me, I've got some big low spots from where I had all the trees.
Oh yeah.
Everything's finally
Rotting the
rotted,
Yeah.
and it's sunk from all that massive rain we had earlier.
Mate,
Yeah.
I think we've put about 20 cubes of sand on your lawn
All
over
up.
the last 4 years.
So this year I'm going, but I'm actually just going to borrow your Pro Plugger again for 6 months. Pull out a whole heap of plugs.
You're not going
Fill
to
it
turf
back
cut?
No,
No.
because the way that it's all, I can't cut that
Oh, yeah.
section of turf without taking it from another section. I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
But the front, well, it doesn't need much to be mint, but I do need the verticolor for a few hours.
The verticolor. Yeah, it's pretty much working 7 days a week. September 1, mate.
I know. That's why last weekend in August is always Gibbo's time to shine.
Actually, no,
It's the weekend before Lenny gets cranked up.
I'm
Is it?
not,
Oh,
gonna,
yeah.
I'm not going to destroy myself like I did last season. I just punished myself,
You
and
did.
I'm not doing that again.
No.
It's because I am now looking after a golf course. I do that 4 days a week.
Have you noticed any? Have you got compliments or how well it's
Yeah,
coming
lots.
along?
Yeah.
It's nice that when you get compliments, isn't it? When you get people stop as they drive past,
Yeah.
take
Taking sneaky
pictures,
pics.
I
and
should
you
use-
realise it's just the DHSS trying to get pictures of you working.
That's it. I should use that pro plugger on the greens. Unfortunately, the greens where I work are suffering from 10 years of no renovations.
Right.
So they've got a 8 centimetre thick thatch layer under them,
Oh gosh.
and it's not
So how long
Going
to get
well.
rid of that? How many remos do you think?
probably.
I think we worked out that the biggest cause that Lenny can do on his machine take out about 17% by volume.
Right.
But you might only be able to get away with one of those at the start of every Reno year. I reckon you probably accumulate like anywhere between 3 to 4% every year on the growth of the Bermudas. And so like if you do the big cores and then the smaller ones, like the next size down, do about 8, and then the smaller ones again do about 3 to 4. So if you can do the big boppers,
Which are 22 mil
22 mil.
inside.
Yep, so that'll
Fair
take
damn it, yeah.
that'll take like 17% of that total volume out. And then
Yeah.
if you do like one other like next big size, so there's another 8. So
Yeah.
I reckon probably 3 years of 3 or
Big.
2 major Renos and like a smaller one each spring summer. 3 years you'll kind of get back on top
That's
of
when
it.
you
to
do
a
mine,
point.
Len. I think when we do the aeration, I'm going to get rid of the cores this time instead of rolling them in.
Yep.
I'll just get my rotary out and we'll suck
Yeah,
them
man.
up. and
I've
then,
got two
yeah,
batteries.
Yeah,
Off
we'll,
we go.
we'll get on with
Yep.
it.
Michelle, I took a sample of the disease, took it into the office and said, you need to post this, express post, it needs to be there, ASAP, gave him the address. A week later I went in the office and it was still on the desk,
Classic stitch
and it's in a plastic bag,
Yeah.
and it was all cooked by then, so,
Oh, go on.
and I'd sprayed fungicide by then, so, yeah, maybe another time. Maybe another time we'll do that.
I've got a good question here from Mr. McTaggart on the tubes. Hi guys, got a fair bit of clover around my back lawn. I want to overseed come September.
It's all for me.
Should I be worried about using bow and arrow before the overseed, as label says, may inhibit establishment?
Because it's got a bow and arrow's got a pre-emergent property to it, doesn't it?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question. Oh my god, we get dessert.
Yeah, we've got dessert.
I'm so full of beer. And Gary's cooking.
Enjoy, boys.
I think if you give yourself like
Oh,
if
I need
you
a fork.
if you hit it now,
A fork and knife.
I think it's something like do not apply seed for some of these labels, but within 6 to 8 weeks. I know I saw Monument, it was within 8 weeks the other day. Monument's probably a bit more hefty again.
Oh.
Yeah.
So if you give yourself, like if you hit it now and then do another application in 2 weeks, you're still going to have, if you're in a cooler area too, you're still going to have probably that good period of 6 to 8 weeks before you're oversowing anyway, so you should be okay.
Wally, I'll tell you what, I'm in heaven now. Eating this and listening to you is another level. Honestly, mate. You want to try it? We need to record
That's
yourself.
so good. Wow, so good.
How good is it having a missus that lived in Holland for a couple of years?
Oh,
She's not Dutch, but she lived there for a little while. So I get the best of.
anyone about Amsterdam?
Have I been there?
Have I? Yeah,
No.
I've been there.
Oh yeah.
Can I tell you a funny story about Amsterdam?
That's a loose place. If you go to Amsterdam, you haven't got a funny story. You didn't go
You
to
did go
Amsterdam.
to Amsterdam.
I can tell you that I don't have a funny story from one time because
You're in jail.
Can't
I
remember.
wasn't in jail when I was somewhere else, and I lost 3 days of my life.
Did you?
And when we stop for recording, remind me to tell you because
Is
oh
that
my
like the
God,
Jim Jeffries egg story?
It's far worse.
Well, we've been to a nightclub in Amsterdam, me and my wife, a friend of ours, their girlfriend, whatever. It freaked me out a bit, but I don't, enough to drink. Go to the toilet, and women were coming in, standing up and peeing in the urinals near me, and I thought, this is not right. Weird, freaked me out. I says, right, I'm going to go back to the hotel. And Alison's like, do you know where you're going? Yeah, I'll follow the tram lines. I know exactly where it is back to the Golden Orb, whatever hotel. So as I go out, and I'm walking, and I go past a music shop with a lovely DW drum sets or drum works in the window, I thought, stood there, drilled for a bit, like, kind of walking. 2 hours later, That's a nice jump kit.
Oh,
I've done a full circuit of the tram lines of Amsterdam. And with that, Alison comes out. She, oh, you waited for us? And I'm like, yeah.
Classic.
She said, "Come on, talk to me, might be
Yeah, look at that jump kit there. For the third time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, good.
Oh.
Remind me to tell you this.
Yeah, it's
Because Liverpool to Amsterdam on a plane's half an hour, right? So when I lived in Liverpool, my days off were Tuesday and Wednesday. So we go to the airport and just say, all right, where's the cheapest flight in Europe today? £10. Boom, you're in Amsterdam 45 minutes later.
Scunthorpe.
It was,
That's it.
it was unbelievable. Like, it was just the freedom was ridiculous as a 22-year-old over there.
No freedom now. No
Suck
freedom now.
Oh my God, BJ Wallace, what on earth are you doing?
You never send that stuff to me, BJ.
You don't want... I need to.
Is this icing
Oh, yeah.
sugar?
Yeah.
Are you
That's,
sure?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, London.
It's,
icing
no,
sugar.
it's not. It's not Colombian marching powder.
Plenty of visits to the red light district.
Right. Yeah. This. Yeah.
Got a few stories about that too, my friend.
It's a-
I actually took my parents to the red light district when they come over there. And at the time, my youngest brother was 13. We're like walking through the red light district in Amsterdam, and all these like the.
Did he have a permanent?
Oh mate, it was next level to watch. So they're all out of their little cubicles, like, hey, you want to lose your virginity tonight? All this, like all the.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
my dad just couldn't handle it. My dad was just like, I have had enough. I've got to go. So my mum and I and my other brother went out in the red light district all night, just partying it up. It's the most, it was the funniest thing ever. I also took my 13-year-old brother on the same trip to Oktoberfest and snuck him into the beer halls.
You told me
Yeah,
about that.
Oktoberfest.
Wow.
My dad told me, because I was a breech baby when I was born. I was I was
Here we go.
ass first, and he says you've been the same way ever since. Yeah, that's
That
what
was
he
your head. It looked like an ass.
said. Ass first.
All right.
Okay, well, I was adopted.
Well, yeah.
I had no idea how I was born. I might have been hatched.
I reckon Chewbacca landing.
So
That's the worst Wookiee ever, isn't it?
did you hear me? Did you hear that? There's a couple broke up in Cairns, and he's gone around with flies and stuck them on every lamppost and said "Raw like Chewbacca contest," and put his ex-missus phone number on.
Oh,
That price was $1,000. She kept getting all those phone calls.
She's probably thinking, what's happening to this poor guy?
Oh, one of the greats. I love my hair.
The other good one to do with that is to put a advert on Gumtree with free baby goats and just leave the phone number on there and say must pick up today, and the phone just goes
Work
beyond.
shifts. Yeah, work shifts must call after 10 p.m.
Yeah, I do
Free
stuff like
chucks, that's a good one.
I did it to someone in a call centre once. That anyway, that's another story.
Oh, one of the greats. Yeah.
They all scammed, didn't they? You know?
Yeah, no, I was adopted. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, poor buggers, they don't know what they're missing.
No, no. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Maybe the house was really small then and they couldn't fit you in.
Possibly.
Swag's fucking top, bloody tiny.
Kick him out! Shall I kick him out?
Shell,
He's
sorry.
eating too much, his head's gone through the roof,
Yeah,
let's
what?
get him out.
it's almost after 9 o'clock.
In New Zealand, it is.
Yeah. That was New Zealand time, okay.
Yeah, come on,
You can oil me dick.
watch out. Alright, I'll be pretty much.
Yeah, we're pretty much done, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got loads of stories to tell you.
Oh, well, go on. We'll give it till 7:50.
Tell us your best story. Tell
Well,
us.
where's the guys that, you know, what the...
No one
No
responded.
one responded.
No one could understand you, to be honest. We've had to translate everything for you.
Give us in there typing or not. No.
He's the secretary.
I suppose it's just being a pommy. But I mean, I love Australia, it's great. It does feel like home.
Yeah.
It really does. But you're always going to get that pommy bashing, aren't you? And I'm surprised no one's mentioned the football.
Well,
The
Oh,
Euro.
it was
It's not coming home. Is
Oh,
it?
was it?
No, it's not coming home. It's coming Rome.
It went Rome, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good enough for them.
I got it for that too. We've got one last question from Brent Matthews because he's put it in here 3 times and I haven't. Watching from work tonight, your boss hope he isn't watching too. When should I start plugging some bare spots around the yard, Brisbane Northside and Queensland Blue Cooch? Mid-September.
Yep.
Wait till it
Mid-September.
warms up, yeah, wait, stop. What's the rush? It's like, you know, you don't
Yeah.
rush a fine red wine, do you, you know?
Yeah, that's
Oh.
it.
See that bottle of Penfolds that sold yesterday from the very first vintage? So
Yeah,
that's like
and they said
1.6
don't
million.
drink them.
Yeah.
It's
Like
just for
1.6
collection
million
only.
bucks.
You, I think, what's his name? Brent.
Yeah. Brent
They could be
Just
water
wait
in
for your
that.
soil
They
temps
won't
to
know.
come up. Yeah, so you want it to warmer soil. You want it to grow.
I think
Like
I
Ryan's
think
cold.
Brent's like me, really. You know, you get out there because you get away from the other half. You can spend some time doing whatever. And I just remember I'm there cutting away, and I saw a couple, fairly, how can I put it? They were getting exercise, put it that way, on the bikes. Husband and wife, I would say. You have a tabards on, not that you couldn't see him anyway. And they come down the road, and I thought he stacked it because I'm mowing. I just heard, and I looked up, and he's like done that, and he's looking, and he just stopped. He just went, "Your lawn mate's awesome." And I says, "Yeah, I don't like my wife." But he thought I said, "I don't like your wife." You know, like I don't like the wife. And she's looking up, and she stared at me. I'm like, "No, not my wife,
I'm Tom.
not your wife." And she just turned away and off she went, you know, pedaling away. And he's like, "Oh,
I'm in trouble when I get
I'm in
home
trouble
from
when I
that.
get the It's just like,
So now he's at home working on his lawn.
That's right.
He's restoring Scotty in the shed.
Yes, in the shed, yeah.
It's like that Carlton mid-hour.
Yeah.
Off to sharpen the marble blades.
What-
Yeah.
Those are great ads. They
Really
really are.
great ads.
The best ad ever was that we've already done it on the sherry, the Christmas ad with the Forex where the ute just collapses.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, something for the ladies.
Yeah.
And you know, you see that in England, I was just like, oh, gotta go there.
there was, I saw a Forex ad the other day. It was an older one, and the old HJ used to load it up with Forex tins, and his missus is sitting in the back too, and they're going across this rickety bridge, and the pack collapses out of the bridge, and she says, "Oh, we might need to lose a bit of weight." And the 2 blokes in the front goes, one of them goes, "Your missus is a good sport, isn't she?"
Yeah.
I love the old Forex one where it's like there's a bloke like sitting on the train and he's like looking at his watch and like looking at the time and he's like what the train guard walks past him, he's like what station you get off, mate? He's like, Bowen. He's like, you better hit the ground running, mate. Train doesn't stop in Bowen on Tuesdays.
Right.
Like, jumps off the train, starts running, and then the train slows down. Pulls up at the station. Guard looks out of the train, gives him a wink. It's like, you bastard.
You fell for it. My mate used to follow. He used to like, you know, get on trains and go drinking at like Leeds or because how close cities are in England is unbelievable compared to over here. And he'd go to Leeds and then he'd get on it, and then he'd leave a sign saying, "Wake me up when I get to York." And he'd end up in Scotland.
Oh, no.
You know, they wouldn't wake him up.
I got a story about that because I used to go from Liverpool to London on the train quite a bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had a huge weekend.
Isn't it just one big city?
Yeah, pretty much.
So anyway, I'm flying down on the train, fell asleep, went straight through London, ended up in Cornwall, like
Yeah, down south, yeah.
bottom thing. Train stops, the guard wakes me up. Good mate, at the end of the line, get out. It's beautiful, finally in London. He's like, London? He's like, we were there like 3 hours ago. I was like, shit. He's like, well, here's a ticket because you didn't have the ticket from London to here. And here's the ticket for the way back to London. So I got 2 fines,
Yeah.
which cost me more than the original ticket to get back. And when I got off in London, I got fined again. Because I slept through one. I was heartbroken.
Well, years ago when I was kid, me and my lovely Darren Seymour was my next door but one neighbour. We grew up together, you know, young kids. We used to like jump trains, so you get on and run to the toilet and lock the door. Oh, and then go, and we thought, oh, that's a giggle. And then one day in York, because York's got all the bar walls which were built by the Romans, you know, and we thought, oh well, let's go and walk the bar walls. So we start walking and walking and walking. And then we see this section which you couldn't get to. And we thought, well, we should be able to get on that. So we jumped this fence and then we get in, and then we're on the section, and then we're like, oh, what's this door? And then we're in like York Museum. So then we're walking around York Museum and looking at all these suits of armour, you know, all these swords, all these longbows, all these, all just amazing things that were there. And then the security guard, who was about like 50 odd, overweight, out of breath. I thought, he's having a heart attack. He went, you two, stop. And we're like, why? He went, you've been seen on camera jumping over the fence. And we're like, well, we thought this was part of the bar walls. And he says, no, this is, York Museum. And then it turned out that my dad knew him. What's your name? And I'm like, Harris Mauser. Is your dad called Ken? I'm like, yeah. Oh, that's all right, then you live here, it's free. If you were from somewhere else, you had to pay, but if you lived in York, it was free, just to go around and look.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Anyone else want one?
Yeah, no, I think so. I think they're all good.
We're about to wrap up anyway, guys.
I'm
I've
gonna
got
pick up your
some stuff I need to get done.
Yeah.
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 No, I'm good. I'm good. So again, shout out to those who assist the fanatics with a lot of stuff. Clint from Lawn Hub
Yeah.
looks after us. He also
Best-
is a water pro man.
Best hoodie I've had this year for sure.
I don't know where mine
It's
is.
quite good, to be honest.
No.
I wear it most nights.
Yeah, it's good.
Just don't have it on tonight.
Get some
Uh,
funny
be on
looks,
it
mate.
again.
always
last
thanks
night.
to Will for
Thanks,
his
Will, for your ingenuity.
huge knowledge. Thanks to Gaz for the barbecue and
No
the company,
worries,
mate. Good on
anytime,
you.
lads. Yeah,
Yep.
thanks for coming
Um,
on.
Don't forget, you get a discount with AUSLF through Lawn Care Supplies, through Plant Doctor, and through
Water Pro.
Water Pro. So, yep. Cheers.
Definitely use them.
Yeah. And you have to go and turn the
You
stuff
need
off.
to turn it on.
Which button do I press?
Oh, the one that says X for
One
stop.
that says stop. This could take a while,
This could
guys.
take a while. Might need Will. Good night, Michelle. Night night.
Well,
We
finish,
need a
you mean,
nickname
finish.
for
Let's
Michelle.
finish.
I'm voting for Turtle.
Turtle.
Michelle.
Are you sure?
Up.
Facebook's done.
This is, are you sure?
Yeah, Michelle.
Yeah, but. Oh, yeah, he by gone.
Hey, up, look. We're still live. On
Yeah, I know, you press that
the, on
one.
the tubes.
Top right.
Bald face on him.
Are
This
you
is classic.
sure?
Please, guys, stop.
Oh.
Let me out. Let me out.
Oh no.
What's he done?
What's he done?
Well, I'm
He says, are you sure
feel
to
like you're gonna
stop
have
the
a stroke
streaming
from-
behind? And there's no yes or no. Sorry, guys. It's behind the holder. Oh,
Oh, we're on it.
see there, Wally. What says, are you sure?
Here, mate.
Aye, so you're going to take it off.
Yeah.
There you go. Right, that's